information from you, want to hear from you. Where is other messaging and communications needed? So let's shift to our final topic of focus here. And we're a little behind schedule, but I don't want to cut this short. So I'm hoping that folks will stay with us for the duration of the summit here. We've heard from you, we've heard from this community about the importance of focus on our youth population. We're seeing some of the numbers and demographics trending to younger ages, and we've listened to you, we've looked at data, we've heard suggestions around the importance of education peer-to-peer, talking about the need for youth hearing from those that are in recovery and how they share experiences, the need for community-based safe places for peers, all different types of information around what are we doing, what are the resources available for our youth population. And so what we also know is that DC Prevention Centers are doing some good work with youth. So we met with our DC Prevention Center directors, Nadine Parker, Roz Parker, Avery Gollinge, and Charles Dark to talk about what is happening, what are the resources, what are the programs. So we've broken up this final segment into two pieces. One, we're going to have Nadine and Avery share some information regarding what's happening with the prevention centers and resources and programs. And then after that, Charles is going to moderate a panel of some of our YPLC members to share some of their personal experiences. So very much excited for this part of our program. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Nadine and Avery to set us up.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Nadine Parker. I am the director of the Wards 3 and 4 DC Prevention Center.
And I am Avery Gollinge, and I am the director of the Wards 1 and 2 Prevention Center.
Can we have the slides, please? And let's start.
911, what's your emergency?
Okay, welcome once again. Once again, I'm Nadine Parker. I'm presenting and representing and introducing those that have not met us before to the prevention centers in the District of Columbia. But you know, I always want to start because I'm not sure everybody understands who we are or what we do. So the first thing I want to talk to people about is the word prevention. Prevention, what is it? It's the action of stopping something before it happens. The word prevention and the prevention activities have been around since the 15th century. Then we always hear things like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, or better still, prevention is better than the cure. But the one thing that we do know is that prevention is the major part of the puzzle needed to combat substance use disorders in the District of Columbia. In the District of Columbia, we have 4 prevention centers. Wards 1 and 2 Prevention Center, which is housed in the Latin American Youth Center. Wards 3 and 4 Prevention Center, which is housed under the privilege of the National Capital Coalition to prevent underage drinking. Wards 5 and 6 Prevention Center is with Sasha Bruce, and Wards 7 and 8 Prevention Center is with Brick. Next slide, please. One of the most important things to know about the Prevention Center is that the Prevention Center is family. This slide says this is us. And if you notice, and it's Prevention Center staff and the Department of Behavioral Health substance use disorder staff. We have a public-private partnership that is truly unique. We're just not funded by the Department of Behavioral Health. We work together. We are the community extension. We are the foot soldiers in the community that feed information to the substance use disorder group. This is different. The District of Columbia is the only place that has a public-private partnership as we do. People are looking at what we have done over the years and designing their own programs behind what has happened and the outcomes of what we have done together. Next slide, please. Next slide. You can go back to the other one. Government partners, government partnerships. We work directly with the mayor's office, with the MOCRs, as to what's going on within our community. We work with the Metropolitan Police Department. In fact, all of the prevention centers help sponsor National Night Out. As you can see, our young people, they testify at the DC City Council talking about prevention needs. And we're partners with the United States Attorney's Office. We work with them on their opioid program, as well as many other programs. Next slide. Partnerships. This is important. Prevention and what we do cannot be done without our community partnerships. Our community partnerships start mainly with our recreation centers, our Boys and Girls Clubs, the DC Public Schools, including the DC charter schools, just to name a few. This is how we reach youth. This is how we develop our youth prevention leadership corps, and this is how we get their attention by going to places where they are. We meet them where they are. After all, the prevention centers are known for being youth-led and adult-guided. Next slide.
So we really wanted to highlight some of how we are a resource to the community and how we offer resources within the community. So one of the main things that we do is we really highlight and work towards increasing protective factors within the community, and so therefore decreasing different risk factors that youth may experience that oftentimes may lead them to potentially using drugs. We do this in multiple different ways, but one other main way of doing this is really conducting outreach and offering educational materials that cover drug facts, data, different laws, one being specifically Initiative 71. And we provide this material in different languages to community members of all. So our community partners, we provide it to youth as well as parents. We speak with parents also on how to have healthy communication and healthy conversations with their youth surrounding drugs. We also create and work towards having safe spaces for youth to engage in healthy conversations on ATOD topics. We really have to create these safe spaces so youth know that one, they can be open and honest with us without having any repercussions on the topics that we're talking about, and really grow their strengths. We create and build on action plans to address the different substance abuse issues that communities are seeing. So we work with what we call our community prevention networks, which are our formalized community partners that work on addressing different issues through evidence-based strategies as well as environmental strategies. We also work and train with our youth who are involved in our YPLCs on implementing action plans. We try to be the community hub for all things ATOD education. And when it comes to our youth, we really work on building and highlighting their skills. As Nadine mentioned, it is youth-led and adult-guided. So we really try to make the youth agents of change within their own communities. So they become leaders and they learn all things ATOD prevention, but they also learn how to present, how to facilitate to their peers. So it's really great to see that when it comes to their youth engagement and leadership development. Next slide. So how we get a lot of our data is by having community conversations. These conversations are led with different community groups, different community organizations, and really our youth on what they're seeing on the ground in their own communities. So as I had mentioned before, we create safe spaces to hold these community conversations. We create community norms and non-judgmental environments that are really important to have these safe conversations surrounding all things ATOD. We allow for an organic and real conversation. We're asking questions about what individuals are seeing in their community, but it's also not just asking questions. It's having a conversation with the participants and pulling their ideas so that they can feel like their ideas are heard, but also their ideas are what lead our work eventually. So they provide information that may be related to emerging drug trends, and also provides ideas and solutions that they feel may be important to implement within their own communities to address the different issues that they're seeing within their own community. So it's really great, helps identify the gaps in different drug issues that they may be experiencing. Next slide. So COVID-19 caused a pause and change in our operation. We definitely had to learn to navigate our very community-oriented work into a virtual engaging experiences. So we wanted to make sure that all things are engaging, especially with our YPLC. I think, you know, we consider ourselves zoomed out in meetings, but we have to be very cognizant with the youth that we're working with. Many of them are on Zoom all day due to school. So we try to still have our youth meetings. Many of us meet with our youth at least once a week, but trying to have games and interactive activities where they can still get to know one another, breakout rooms where they can talk and really become a family within their own groups. We've had virtual events and exhibits to showcase not only what the YPLC do, but what we do as DCPCs to really highlight our work. We continue to offer our materials to communities that are doing outreach in person. So we've been able to do a National Night Out last year, as well as a few of us are able to include our information at different food distribution sites. So our education material is still really getting into the hands of people. We've also really grown all of our social media campaigns, especially with an emphasis, I think, on Instagram. We've really tried interacting with our community members and youth that way, and as well as like our YouTubes. You saw a video at the beginning, and we'll showcase some of our videos at the end, and you're able to also go onto our YouTubes to see those different things. But really making sure that we're having interactive activities and exhibits and meetings with our community members still. And it's been great to see how we've been able to move to this virtual world and reality. Next slide. So these will be quick. These are just some highlights of some of the different ways we've engaged the community. So Zoom meetings, you know, we've highlighted our work with our youth and our CPN, our community prevention networks. On the next slide, Nadine Center at 3 and 4 actually was able to, in the past, they have participated in the in-person health expo for MBC4, and this year they actually were able to attend virtually. So this was their table on the virtual stand and platform for the health expo. And then on the next slide, you'll see all of our different Instagrams. So different Instagram handles. Be sure to follow each and every one of us. We really are looking for different ways to interact, so feel free. A lot of us do different polls and different quizzes, so great ways to reach out to us and even send us messages. Next slide. And related to specifically Live Long DC, we've all worked on creating different PSAs with the community, youth targeted PSAs that will also be shared via radio and TV shortly. We've created poster campaigns, art installations, postcards with Live Long DC information, as well as have created partnerships that have been related to treatment and recovery providers. And next slide. I believe we have a video.
How much damage can one pill do? An average of 135 Americans die every day from an opioid overdose. Opioids are highly addictive, and anyone who takes them, even when they're prescribed by your doctor, is at risk for developing addiction. Continued use of opioids can lead to a physical dependence. The body begins to build up a tolerance to the drug, meaning that users must increase their doses to more dangerous levels to achieve the same amounts of pleasure. This misuse often results in death. There were 70,980 drug overdose deaths reported last year alone. Opioid addiction is real. All it takes is one.
Okay, next we're getting into the really special part of what makes us the prevention centers, our Youth Prevention Leadership Corps. They're peer leaders, they're advocates, they're advisors, and they use us as their mentors, and we are their mentees. Our peer leaders, they have worked in developing, as Avery said, they have developed public service announcements. They advise us. They work directly with us. They've conducted community conversations. They are our ears and our eyes as to the substance use disorders that are going on within our community. The next few slides you will see will be photos of the partnerships. This is a partnership from one of our summits where we not only presented, but we had our youth present, and we also had them trained. We listened to them, as you can see, we listened to them. We made them an integral part. The next slides that you will see are various public service announcements that we have all created, or activities and events that we have all done. Keep in mind, this is just a sampling. We have so many that we could not put on today. So please make sure that you contact us and have a viewing of all that we have to offer. And we will start with this video now. So what you just saw there was an actual activity that Sasha Bruce, Wards 5 and 6 DC Prevention Center held for the youth. They actually closed down a club and brought people in to actually work with the youth and had a mini summit. There have been several questions in the chat as to where have these videos been shown. They've been shown at various community events. Most of them are on YouTube. and they've been shown with our community prevention networks. The most important thing about most of the videos that you see, these videos are our Youth Prevention Leadership Corps. You'll see a couple of the same faces later on in this presentation that you see in a few of these videos. Currently, they are still working on developing public service announcements, helping our writers produce them, design them, and provide the information for them. Next slide, please. You can press play. Let it keep playing, it'll play.
If you overdose, that's not it. So if you know that you may get in a predicament like that, like if you mess around with drugs a lot, stuff like that, then you can get your hands on something that can prevent that or reverse that.
You take your life serious and like not to damage it, because they don't really, because once you do something to your body, sometimes you can't reverse it.
Okay, that was the video. As you can see, it was done by the wards 1 and 2 Youth Prevention Leadership Corps for the District of Columbia. Many of these videos have been cut down because we're trying to just give you a taste of the videos. This is a Live Long DC video that was conducted, and these are actual youth that are part of the Youth Prevention Leadership Corps. You can press play.
Prescription pills,
lean,
dirty Sprite,
heroin,
fentanyl,
abuse,
depression,
addiction,
dropout,
overdose,
death,
prison, epidemic. Opioids
are more harmful
than you think.
That happened to be come out of youth making videos themselves. A couple of summers ago, of course, not last summer, we had them working. They taped their own videos, and those videos can also be found on the majority of our YouTube pages. The next slide.
People will spend a lifetime searching for happiness or peace within themselves, and I just hope that they don't look for it in drugs.
It is very dangerous and it won't solve many of your problems.
Opioids are not going to help you get through life.
It is pretty easy to get addicted to these drugs. Think about family members or anybody that cares about you.
It doesn't really matter how they get the help as long as they do.
Opioids are more harmful than you think.
Okay, and we actually, this is just a sampling of the public service announcements, the video. We have videos that are for classroom presentations that have a curriculum that goes along with them, but it was just a little bit too long to show. So the prevention centers have been busy, working with our youth, trying to keep things moving. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been trying to be a force in prevention. Once again, prevention is a major part of the puzzle needed to combat the substance use disorder in the District of Columbia. Now you will have a session by our Youth Prevention Leadership Corps.
Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Avery. We're going to shift and introduce Charles Dark, who's the Ward 5 and 6 Prevention Center Director. And we've got our panel of youth. We'll just give us a moment to get them set up and spotlighted here. We'll have them introduce themselves in a moment. And while we're doing that, so thank you, this is fantastic information shared from their prevention centers. And we know some of you are involved in other programs that are aware of other programs and resources that are supporting youth in our communities. So if there's other information, please drop it into the chat. Let us know what else is out there. Let us know what you're aware of. We're trying to build comprehensive access to information. We appreciate all the information that can be shared with this community. So let me, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Charles Dark, who will have our panel set up. We'll have them introduce themselves, and he will moderate a conversation with our DC youth.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charles Dark, and I am the director of the Ward 5 and 6 DC Prevention Center. Today, I will be moderating this panel discussion with some of our YPLC members represented from across the district. At this time, I would like for each of the panelists to introduce themselves by giving their name, your age, and tell us how long you have been involved with the YPLC initiative.
Best is probably if you want to name each one, so we have the order, Charles.
Not a problem. Not a problem. First of all, I'll start with Travion Jones.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Travion Jones. I've been with YPLC for, I'd say, 5 months now. I actually joined virtually, like they recruited me virtually, so I never met with them in person. So, I mean, it's been a good experience for me, and it's just making me aware of a lot more things going on in the community and allowing me to help others be more aware of what's going on in the community.
Thank you so much, Travion. Next, we will have Corin Moore.
Hi, can you repeat what you asked me to say?
I just want you to say your name once again, your age, and tell us how long you've been involved with the YPLC. I think I met you the other day, it was at Ward 7 and 8 Prevention Center. So how long you've been with them? Okay.
My name is Corin Moore. I've been with the YPLC since January, I think, and I am 16 years old.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. John Lemus.
Hi, my name is John Lemus. I've been with YPLC since October, and I'm 15 years old.
Thank you so much. Yaseline Iglesias.
Hi, my name is Yaseline. I'm 15, and I've been in the YPLC for about like 3 or 4 months now, since spring.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Next, we have Skylar Phillips.
I'm not sure she's joined yet. I'll let you know if she does.
Okay, no problem. Next, we'll have Sydney Keating.
Hi, I'm Sydney. I'm 17, and I've been with the Youth Prevention Leadership Corps for about 2 years now.
All right. So the next portion of the panel is I'm going to take you all through a variety of questions, just so you all can familiarize those in attendance with some of the language associated with YPLC, some of the initiatives that we've done, some of the issues we've had over the last year with COVID and how we had to adjust, and just an overall perspective of your experience in working with YPLC as a leader in the community. So we're going to start with the questions. And, first of all, basic, I keep hearing YPLC, and I'm sure a lot of folks on the call are like, what is YPLC all about? Sydney, can you tell us what YPLC is?
Definitely, yeah. So YPLC is the Youth Prevention Leadership Corps, and I personally am the chapter leader for Wards 3 and 4. And our job is to go around the district raising awareness about opioids, alcohol abuse, substance abuse in general. And we do that by having events that we table at. We'll go to schools and we'll talk to students there, parents also having community conversations. We also spend time doing group activities by ourselves so we can educate ourselves and make sure we're well informed about the topics we're going to be speaking on. And we also do community service activities just to establish a presence in the community.
Excellent, thank you. My next question, and we've all been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic over the last year, and we've all had to make some major adjustments. Each of the prevention centers across the district, and more so importantly, specifically our YPLC, and how we've related and done activities and things in the past. So with that being said, how have YPLC activities adapted in the past year to the COVID environment, and how are you using social media? I'm going to have Corinne first and then John respond. I'll start with Corinne.
Okay. So for me, it affected me well. I've already been online. I've been homeschooled since I was in 5th grade till now, since COVID happened and we have to be online now. It really helped me transition back, because I know I would probably been nervous going back into school and all that stuff. So it really made me feel like I was comfortable online and speaking with other children my age. And my leader, Miss Ross and Miss Rosalind and Lauren, they asked me, how did COVID affect my community, especially with, alcoholism and, drugs. So I would say, like, it took a negative effect on my community, and it really made a lot of people go back into like their old habits. It was a lot of trash on the ground, like alcohol bottles and drug packages on the ground. So I really think it affected my community in a negative way. How I am getting out on the line and trying to speak out about it is, posting on Twitter. I feel more comfortable posting on Twitter than on Instagram. I feel like I can reach a broader horizon than on Instagram, only because, we can tweet and show pictures and get involved and, chat with other students. And I really do think this impacted me well during COVID.
Next, I'd like to hear from John. What's your perspective over the last year?
Well, it's been good, I guess. Because in YPLC, our mentors have like taught us different things. We've been working on like different types of projects. For example, last semester we worked on a video which was about the risk of use of alcohol. And as in right now, we're making a podcast, which is in process. And so it teaches us, like, it prepares us like to like talk to like industries, I guess, and like bigger people and learn different things about drugs.
Okay, thank you so much, John. Also, Travion, if you're on, I know that you had been doing some really, really good things on social media. Could you tell us about some of what you've been doing?
I just been like they say, they encourage us to research facts and just make posts, tweets and stuff that make people aware, and just, another thing I did was the analytics. One month, my leader Lauren wanted me to just track the analytics for Instagram and see who was the page reaching out to, how many people, and through that process, I've found out like it's more like women. I've seen in the analytics that the page is like getting to, like with the information and stuff. So that was cool to me to know who I'm impacting. Yeah.
Right.
You go ahead.
No, so Travion, that's a good point. So having that information pretty much guided your steps as far as who you're catering your message to based on those analytics, right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. That's excellent, brother. That's excellent. I'm going to move on to the next question, number 3. Some of you had the experience of meeting with people in recovery. How did that impact you? How did that shape you? And what's some of the stories, or what are some of the things that you took away from that experience? I'll have Travion, can you respond to that?
Yes, I say, how did that impact me? That just showed me like it's another, to me, those people, I commend those people, because that takes a very strong person mentally to like have an addiction, recognize that addiction, fix that addiction, then help others fight that addiction, versus like relapsing and going back to their old ways. I just think that takes a strong person to do that. Like mentally, you have to be very strong to do that. I just commend those people. And it showed me like that's just with anything in life. If you're strong mentally, you can overcome anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Corinne, I know you had some experience with that, with the group, and what were some of your takeaways?
Yes, so the Oxford House came to talk to us. It was one lady in particular, I forgot her name, but she was telling us how she went through a drug addiction and how she overcame it, and now she's owning property, and she's really on the right track right now, you know. And I was like, wow, like you guys really did that. For me at first, when I used to talk about drugs, or, you know, you have family members sometimes who are going through drug addictions, you'll be like, oh, let's not talk about it. It's not my business, you know, let them be by themselves. But knowing that there's actually a program out here helping people and helping those who want to be helped get through this process and get through this stage in life, because you're not going to be stuck in one stage. You're going to have to keep on going through stages and changes and going through experiences so that you can grow and become a better person. So I really took that from them. Like, I'm not going to be stuck in one stage forever. Sometimes you get down about schoolwork, or you get down about other things happening in life, and then you hear other people's stories. And you're like, wow, like you guys really did that. So it just motivates you more to want to grasp all the information that you can, and then, you know, teaching others about it. It just makes you want to really be out there and help other people, you know.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. Question number 4. What else feels important to share regarding the needs of youth as related to the opioid crisis in DC? I want to hear from you all specifically about the youth perspective as it relates to opioid, what you all are seeing, what's important. What else do the folks on this summit panel, what do they need to hear directly from you all today? I'll start with Yoselin.
I think we all need that family support. Like, it's really important so they can guide you and help you out whenever you're feeling down, or like if you're addicted, you need that support, or else you just fall downhill and just make the same mistakes over and over, and you'll just be stuck. And in the video I saw on TikTok that it was not real, but it can happen in real life, that this little young girl took like some edibles and had marijuana and some brownies, and she thought it was candy, and she took it, and she was immediately having seizure because she took way too much. And the father was in big trouble because he was getting addicted to drugs behind his wife's back and his whole family. And the mother got really sad and just upset that, wow, my husband did that, especially when they have a child and he has responsibilities. And it's really important for the parents to have some responsibility of their own children, because you're putting your own family at risk and your futures, your daughter's future. And you just need to stop and just focus on their safety instead of yourself, because it's not just about you, because it can affect your whole family and your whole future.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that, Yoselin. John, can you give us your perspective? What do folks need to hear from the youth perspective as it relates to opioids in the district? What are you seeing?
Well, I feel there should be like a more available resources in school, because in the school I go to, we barely like hear like where we can like reach out for help. Like they'll do it like once a month, but I feel like they should do it at least like more than once a month, since like many people in our school could like one day like know about it, and the next day they might start doing it.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, one of the many things that we've done from day one here in the prevention centers is this initiative that we have called community conversations. And those community conversations have helped us tremendously guide our steps as far as what direction we should be going in based on what the community is saying is happening within their community. Through the prevention centers, we look at each community as an individual, almost prescriptive, where we look at individually, what does each of these community need and how can we put action in place to address those needs? Recently, you all participated in a community conversation. I want someone to describe recent community conversations that you participated in, and tell us what that experience was and what did you take away from that experience or participating in a community conversation. Sydney, can you tell us about your experience?
Yeah, so me and my group, we recently did a community conversation, and it was really, really insightful. We basically spoke to other youth in the community, and we did a drug IQ test with them, which essentially just tests kids or adults, whoever's taking it, on their knowledge about opioids, alcohol, dependency, and just general substance abuse. So it was a good experience for us and them, because for us on our end, we were able to tell them information that they might not have already known, and that would, what we hoped would be influencing their decisions when it came to drugs and alcohol and general substances in the future. So we were able to educate them on some of the dangers and harmful effects of substance abuse. And on our end, we got a significant bit of information about how the kids in our community are educated. And when it comes to future outreach, we'll have that information and data on how we want to proceed with our social media posts or general just outreach activities, because of the information that we got from these types of community outreach.
Thank you so much for sharing that, City. Like I say, data is great, but sometimes getting that direct perspective from communities helps you kind of hone in on what we can have ideas of what we think the issue or the problem is, but hearing directly from those folks that navigate within that circle or that space guides our steps. So thank you for sharing, sharing your experience. Last question. And I just want to kind of get a summation of your experience with the Youth Prevention Leadership course. So with that being said, how has the YPLC or your involvement in the YPLC impacted you directly? I'll start with Corinne, then after Corinne, if those that are on want to respond, that's fine. But I would love to hear from each of you. How has it impacted you directly? Corinne?
Yes, so the YPLC impacted me. I have it written down because I was a nurse.
That's okay. That's okay.
It definitely changed my perspective on those who are addicted to harmful substances. Like I already said, at first I thought it's not my business. Why should I get involved? You know, and then I got into the program because if I didn't get into the program, I wouldn't have looked it up by myself, to be honest, like not lying. Once I got into the program, I found out like some really new drugs that I never heard could be drugs before, prescription painkillers, stuff like that, PCP, steroids. It's this one drug called bath salt. It's not for the bathtub, but it's a chemical powder that acts like cocaine. I did have to look it up. The drug causes bad medical and psychological side effects. And they did tell us about, drugs don't just affect you physically. It doesn't affect just your kidneys or, your stomach, anything like that. It can also affect you mentally. And I was like, wow, if I didn't get into this program, I would not have known that. So knowing that, and then my mom was telling me, my grandmother, she got schizophrenia because of drugs. Someone put one in her drink at a party and out of nowhere just went crazy. No, not crazy, but she started progressing into this serious disease or this serious illness. So that really wowed me. I was like, wow, like I did not notice at first and I was not going to look it up. And then, it also helped me learn not to judge a book by its cover. Not everybody does drugs because it's accessible. Like I learned that it could be a coping mechanism, trying to escape reality. Sometimes, this world wasn't built, especially for African Americans, to succeed in life. And knowing that, I would have been, doing some stuff too, because I want to be something great in life, but I can't do that if it's always these, what's it called? It's these stereotypes, everybody always has this background about African Americans when they never really took the chance to come out and meet us or talk to us and get our understanding on things. Peer pressure that goes a long way, especially for youth. And I learned this through them. They also taught us how youths can stay drug free. Just knowing that they have a whole bunch of call lines, programs like this, like I said, the Oxford program, you know, knowing that's for adults. They also have children programs too. So they just taught me a lot, and I'm really amazed as to how all of this stuff is transpiring. And, you know, me being me, I didn't know what was going on. So getting into this program, it really helped me. It really made me understand better what is going on in the world and what is it taking to help people who are doing drugs or still trying to get rid of their addictions, you know. So it really helped me, and I thank you guys so much. Like, I'm already emotional. But yeah, it's really helped me. Yes.
I get it. And I'm emotional hearing from you all today. I mean, you all have been amazing, speaking directly from your heart. This is what I think the YPLC, or the platform, this is what it does. It provides a safe place for folks. You know, a lot of times in the district, we look at youth as the problem, but clearly you all are the solution if we give you the opportunity. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before I go, did anybody else want to chime in? I didn't want to just stop there because I just love this conversation, and this is great. So Sydney, did you want to say something? I think it's important and we need to hear from you all. So yes, Sydney.
For me, the YPLC has made a really, really big impact on my life. I was able to participate, luckily, in things pre-COVID. And when I joined, it was my sophomore summer, going into my junior year. And I had never really interacted with my community as a whole outside of my family and my neighbors. I'd never really interacted with the other teenagers and people in my community. So even aside from educating myself on the usage of drugs and just generally getting a better knowledge of the world around me as a teenager, as a young adult, I was also really able to interact with my community in a way I hadn't before. And I didn't realize how valuable that was until around COVID, because I saw the changes we had done in our community, and it was strange not being a part of it, not being a direct physical part of it during the pandemic. And I really realized that I missed it. And in being in the YPLC and being the chapter leader, it made me realize that I did want to end up doing something later on in my life that works with my community. Having the opportunity to be in YPLC has given me a new perspective on the way that I do things. And I feel like it's made an impact on my long-lasting career prospects and the fields I want to go into, because I'm just so interested and I'm just so dedicated to public service now that I've had the experience of what it's like to really be able to help people in a physical sense, to be able to hand someone a pamphlet that will, I know, maybe make a change in their life somewhere down the road. It means a lot. And I wouldn't have done it, wouldn't have the chance to do it if I hadn't been in the Youth and Community Corps.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Panelists, I would like to thank you all so much for sharing today. You all have been amazing, like totally. At this point, I'd like to turn it back over to Jonathan. But before I give it to Jonathan, I want to challenge everyone on today. These YPLC youth are great, but we need you all to help us connect to those youth that are not as engaged as these YPLC members. So please, if you all have youth, or connect us to youth that are looking to get connected to something positive, and like I said, become a part of the solution and not looked at as a part of the problem. We're here across the district. We look forward to working with you all. We've been here in the communities for 11 years. You all see the results of our work. And once again, panelists, thank you so much. I'll turn it over to Jonathan.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, panelists. Wow, Bryn, you're not the only one who's emotional here. You all as a group have impacted more than 120 DC leaders here this afternoon who have hung on to this conversation and have so embraced what you've shared. I don't know about you all in the broader audience, but I'm feeling pretty good and hopeful about our future leaders. You know, Emily and I had the privilege of meeting with this group prior to today, and we knew that we had to end on this segment because nobody would want to follow this group in our conversation today. It was just such a powerful group. Thank you, Sydney. Thank you, Travion. Thank you, Corinne. Thank you, John. Thank you, Jocelyn. You guys probably haven't had a chance to follow the chat comments. We're going to save that. We'll send it out to you. I want you guys to see the comments, the feedback we got from the group here today, so you can see the power and the impact that you've had here this afternoon. So thank you for the tremendous work. Thank you for Roz, Nadine, Avery, Charles, for the work that you do in the prevention centers as the directors. The presentation and resources and information you shared is just so powerful and so important in the district. So thank you all.